The post-resurrection appearance of Jesus on Lake Tiberias is the gospel text for today. The focus of these verses is on Jesus and the church that he founded. There are three parts to the story which we will hear about in the gospel text of today. The first part deals with the miraculous catch of fish. The second with the recognition of the risen Lord. And the third with the dialogue with Saint Peter. The text begins with Peter telling his companions that he is going fishing. The response of the other six to Peter's statement is to affirm that they will go with him. This indicates a sense of community and oneness, though they may not be able to fully understand the significance of going fishing at this crucial time. They will collaborate with Peter, whom they regard as their leader now. They will pull together. However, despite all their valiant efforts, they are unable to achieve anything. Jesus appears unobtrusively when it is light and asks a question about the catch. They reply that they have caught nothing. They obey the command of Jesus to cast the net on the starboard or on the right side, and they are successful. The quantity of fish is so great that they struggle to haul in the net. The second part of the story narrates the recognition of the risen Lord. The enormity of the catch is detailed in the number of fish caught, namely 153. A variety of interpretations have been offered to explain this number. Saint Augustine proposed a mathematical way of reading this number, which is regarded as plausible even today. His explanation was that 153 is obtained when all the integers from 1 to 17 are added together. This mathematical fact suggests the completeness of the number 153, with 1 being the first integer, 7 being the perfect number. Others regard the number as clearly indicating that the narration of this event is an eyewitness account of what actually happened. This is why the number is not a round figure, but 153. Still, another interpretation is that 153 was the number of species of fish known to Greek zoologists of that time. And thus, this number signifies that every kind or species of fish was caught in the net of Jesus. That this is plausible is indicated by the fact that the net did not break, despite the fact that there were so many fish. This is an indication of unity, not only in diversity, but unity even in diversity. That this seems to be the best explanation is confirmed by the fact that the verb to haul used here of Peter's hauling the net ashore is the same verb used to describe those who come to Jesus from God in chapter 6, verse 44. It is the same verb that is used to describe the salvific effect of the death of Jesus when he will draw or haul all people to himself in John 12:32. Thus, what seemed like aimlessness before the appearance of Jesus becomes, with his presence, a focused ministry. The disciples continue the mission of Jesus even when they fish by drawing everyone to him. The mission is universal. No one is excluded. There is no parochialism or restriction of any kind. Each one who is drawn to Jesus and makes part of his or her community has his or her own place. In this community, diversity is not to be frowned upon, but is to be celebrated. It is good to be different and yet part of the whole. It is good to be an individual and yet part of the community. Thus, exclusivity has no place in any mission that has its roots in Jesus' mission. All are included and all are welcome. Even more, each retains his or her identity and is still very much a part of the whole. There is no need for uniformity in the family of Jesus, but unity is very much a core value. The third part of the text links this section with the previous one through the words, when they had finished breakfast. It is a continuation of the appearance of the disciples at Lake Tiberias, where, because they obey his instructions, they are able to haul in a great catch of fish. These verses narrate the conversation that Jesus has with Simon Peter. One possible reason why Jesus asks Peter 3 questions is because Peter had denied him 3 times. However, it is also important to realize that the 3 questions are all different. The first question which Jesus asks is inclusive. Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? It includes, therefore, the other disciples, the boat, the nets, and the fish. Jesus is asking Peter whether Peter loves him more than he loves the other disciples, or whether he loves him more than he loves his own livelihood. The second question is direct. Simon, son of John, do you love me? And this question involves only Jesus and Peter. Everything else recedes into the background. The spotlight shifts to the two. Does Peter love Jesus? Though the third question seems similar to the second, it is really different, because in it, Jesus asks Peter about friendship. It reads, Simon, son of John, are you my friend? This is a crucial change from the earlier question, because in chapter 15, verse 13, Jesus had explained the true meaning of friendship when he said, no one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. By affirming that Peter is indeed a friend of Jesus, he is affirming his willingness to die for Jesus. This interpretation is confirmed by the fact that as soon as Peter affirms his friendship, Jesus invites him to lay down his life. The text ends with Jesus inviting Peter to follow him. Through this command, Jesus is seen as it may be seen as a general invitation to discipleship. Here, it means a specific command to martyrdom and even to death. Peter knows, even as he answers, that trials and difficulties are part and parcel of his commitment. He is aware that following Jesus is not going to be easy, and that he will be called to make great sacrifices. He is ready, willing, and able. This willingness is evident in the first reading of today, when soon after this event, as narrated by the Acts of the Apostles, Peter was willing to suffer for his Lord. Not only was Peter willing to suffer, he also learned to rejoice in his suffering, because, as the second reading states, he knew that in doing so, he was privileged to imitate the Lamb that was slain. The call to follow Jesus today is a call that will continue to be heard as long as there are people who dare to open their hearts to this call. While it will not always be a call to martyrdom by death, like it was in the case of Peter, it will always be a call to be a martyr or a witness. This is because the voice of Jesus can only be heard today in his disciples, and he can be seen and experienced only when those who profess to follow him reach out in unconditional and eternal love. Will you show your discipleship by following Jesus unconditionally, not so much to death, but to bring life to others?